Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. My name is Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and I am so excited to welcome you to another fantastic episode. We have a very special guest with us today, and our show is Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living. The star of our show is Zane Carson Carruth. Zane is an international award-winning author. She's a philanthropist. She is an incredible writer, and she is someone who gives everything that she has through her heart and helping other people. Let's welcome her to the program. Zane, come on out. Hello.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Happy holidays to you. I'm well. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm recovering from Christmas dinner and looking forward to the week, just not having to do anything.
You told me you had 3 dishwashers full of dishes. That is epic.
It's a 3 dishwasher meal. You know, you have appetizers and desserts and salads and a million, drinks and yeah, it was fun. Everybody enjoyed it.
You're so talented. And this time of year with the books that you have, I know you had a special event at Neiman Marcus in Houston, and you've got your books available. Tell us about them and where people can find them.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, my books are available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart, Target, and on the website, worldsfirsttoothfairy.com. But no, we had a great event at Neiman's. They included my book in their Books to Bed program, where they made a little pair of pajamas with all of the illustrations from my books, and you can buy the pajamas and the book as a package set to give to, a youngster from the age of, size 2 to 10. So that was very successful. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. And then I'm just wrapping up my next book, A Bella Meets Almost a Racehorse. It's based on the true story of my racehorse, who you'll have to read the book. It's a lot of fun. He got an abscessed tooth, but in real life, but in the book, he did too. So Bella fixes it. So it's a fun story. I'm looking forward to that coming out as well. But what I'm most excited about is our guest today. I am pleased to welcome Julia Dunn, who is a CBS 6 Albany newscaster. She started her career and has done some amazing shows or covered some amazing events, Boston Marathon bombing, the royal wedding of William and Catherine, and she produces a weekly series called Positively Upstate, which focuses on unique people, places, and events in the capital region, which is how I met Julia. She had me on her show, and we talked about my book, and we just became friends. And then after the show, you will see why we are still friends, because she's a very engaging and delightful person. Welcome.
Welcome, Julia Dunn. Hello.
Zane, it was so awesome meeting you over the summer and doing that whole story. I obviously, for Positively Upstate, I did a story with Zane about the books that she does, and it was a great time. It was a good time seeing her beautiful house in Saratoga. It was absolutely stunning on Union Avenue, which is right near the racetrack in Saratoga, if you've ever been there. And it was just beautiful. She and her husband Brady, I mean, they do such amazing work with the Saratoga Springs Preservation Foundation, and they hosted the porch party over the summer, and her house is just beautiful. So it was great to not only meet Zane, but also see the house from the inside. It's out of a different time, and they take such amazing care of it.
Well, thank you. That's a very kind thing to say. But yeah, we love that house. It was, it's well over 100 years old and has a very, very illustrious history there in Saratoga. But the main thing is you just walk to the racetrack. You don't have to worry about parking, and it's great. And then we get all kinds of characters after the races.
I'm sure.
They stop in, come up on the porch. It's like, no, this isn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many people come up on the porch at night that you see on your nest that you're like, keep moving.
Yeah, we've had some close calls. I'll just say that.
Really, it's really an honor to have you here today. I have so many questions I want to ask you. And I think one that the audience would really be interested in hearing is you're a beautiful, intelligent, competent, successful woman going and doing this job. It's so easy. Just show up and everything works out fine. There's never any bloopers. There's no pressure. Is that true?
Oh,
the first part's true. The bloopers part.
No. Okay, so let's start. Geez, I don't even know where to start with this. First of all, let me just say I love my job. I absolutely love my job. I always wanted a job that was going to be different every single day to keep me interested, something that was creative, and TV news is definitely that, whether you're a reporter or you're on the anchor desk. But just showing up for my job is difficult because I start work. I have to be at work at 3 a.m. I live 40 minutes away from my station. So I wake up at 2 a.m. I drive down to my station. I get there at 3:10. And then I need to be full makeup, everything, have gone through shows, be on the air at 4:30. 4:30, the show starts. We do 3.5 hours until the end of the show. And then we do a couple of cut-ins through national. And then I have to stay at work until maybe noon. So it's non-human hours. We have to do all of our own makeup. We have to do all of our, our hair, everything. We don't have everyone's like, well, do you have a makeup artist or do you have somebody that does your hair every morning? And I'm like, I wish, that'd be great. Apparently they used to have all this stuff as early as the 90s, but it's all kind of been phased out. So if you're at one of the big networks, like you watch the Today Show or Good Morning America, I mean, of course, they have everybody doing everything for you, but local news, most of the people you're watching, they have to do all of their own stuff. So you're reading scripts, you're doing makeup, you're doing hair, and then you're going on the air. And bloopers obviously happen all the time. I mean, you look at the prompter, it's coming up and there's a word that's missing like 3 letters and you're kind of trying to figure out on the fly what it says. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, but it is a great job. Doesn't pay the money that it used to, but it is, if you want like a job that's very, kind of community based and is different every single day, then news is, I mean, it's addictive for sure.
Wow, I learned so much from what you just shared. So you're going.
Was that a lot? I'm sorry, that was a lot.
No, it's good. That you're getting up at 2 a.m. I don't know, Zane, what time are you getting up? I'm getting up at 8. So I really admire
Yeah.
this.
No, I went 8 o'clock. I'm like, my shift is like halfway done. I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'm like, all right, we're in the home stretch. Like, let's go. Zane, right now. So I'm off. I go back to work tomorrow, but I've been off for Christmas. So like my hair is up. Like, so tomorrow I go back to like the grind. But it's also hard on a Friday, going into Saturday and kind of shifting back to a normal schedule. And then on Sunday, it's like you have to kind of get back into it. It's tough, but it's morning news. Morning news is fun because it makes you get up, obviously, because you're going to get fired if you don't. And it also sort of, you're like kind of a head start on everybody. Like, what's going on, everything that's kind of happening. And you're up and going like super early. So when people actually do wake up, you're already like 8 steps ahead of them. So, it takes, there's only certain people I think that can do it. You gotta be able to nap. If you can't nap, I don't think you can work a morning shift because then you're kind of in trouble. But I can nap pretty easily, thankfully.
Oh, yeah, because I wondered how you did that because you came I said, well, one night we met for drinks like at 7:30, and I thought, she's been up since forever. And then when we did my show, you came that morning, but you still had to go home and get your little boy and take care of him and do all of that. So you still
gotta like
managed
sneak
to have a life.
in those naps, like wherever you can, just like sneak them in.
Yeah, well, that helps. Well, tell us about these special stories that you like, that Boston Marathon bomber and the wedding of Prince William. So you just get an assignment and then you're off to the wherever?
I mean, they send you. So the station I worked at in Western Mass, they're like, they were trying to do something big with the royal wedding, and I almost said, I wasn't even really seriously saying it to our general manager. I was like, John, you can send me to London if you want. I've spent a lot of time in that city. I know exactly where to go. You could send me in a photographer with like a, we call them live views. It's, live and then just the letter U. It's basically a backpack that acts like one of the live trucks that you see in all the, the TV movies and stuff. Movies, they show like the truck with the satellite dish. So now with technology, TV stations have the ability to harness that energy in a backpack. So a photographer will wear a backpack that has internet capability and shoot with the camera, and it just goes up Wi-Fi and feeds back to the station. So you don't need those microwave trucks anymore. So I said to them, I'm like, why don't you just send a photographer and I to London? I'm like, we can do the royal wedding. I'm like, I can do it really easily. Like, I know that city pretty well, like where this stuff's going on. And he actually sent us, I couldn't believe it. We're such a small, we probably were the smallest station in London. And we were there for a week. Set us up at the Marriott. We were right across from the clock and Big Ben with the clock. And we had, because we were a double affiliate with ABC and with CNN, we had access to both of their camps. So I had a great spot right outside of Westminster Abbey for the first couple of days. And then we were right, kind of CNN had a big block looking out at Buckingham Palace when they did their first kiss and everything like that. It was awesome. We were there for like a week. It was really surreal.
That is a dream assignment. That sounds like a dream assignment. Well, the nice thing is you were familiar with the city, so it wasn't that stressful for you because you knew how to get around.
Exactly. Yeah, I had studied abroad in the UK, so I've been to London a couple of times, but it was like, I mean, who didn't? I don't know about you guys, but like I know some people hate the royal family. I love the royal family. I watch The Crown. I keep up with like all that stuff. So when they were like William and Kate, I was like, yes. I'm like, this is the picture of the guy I had in my locker when I was in 7th grade, Prince William. I'm like, yes, I'll go. Like, absolutely.
We love the royal family. We actually have a show called the United Kingdom News and Culture and updates on the royal family. We've got 3 people who are over there and they've been covering the royals for years. So it's kind of fun.
Absolutely love them.
What I want to ask you also is, how much background research do you have to do before you start a show, or the information is given to you and then you provide it?
Basically, so we get an email because of just how weird our shift is. We'll get an email the night before from our executive producer outlining the top stories, what we're really going to be focusing on, local and national. Obviously, that's in flux overnight because things can change. You can have breaking news. So when we come in the morning, we have a group phone call where we're all at the station, but we all kind of get on because we're at different places in the building. We all get on a group call and we go through all of our top stories, what we're going to be focusing on, this and that. And at the same time, we're all going through our shows on a computer, looking through this program at scripts, double checking things. Hey, I think we can, advance this story a little bit. I found this article here, yada, yada, yada. So the show that the producers have been piecing together overnight, the anchors come in at a later hour, like me, and we all start going through it and basically giving it a second, third set of eyes. Should we do this? Maybe we should do that. Well, do we want to send the live reporter here? I think it would be better here. How are we going to showcase this? Maybe we should put this at a different. So it's all sort of like a brainstorming session that kind of leads up to the show, and then it just goes on, and you're like, fingers crossed, let's go.
Wow. So y'all are able to get all that accomplished on the fly before your show starts?
Yeah, like
That's
within the
incredible.
hour and a half before the show starts. Yeah, like with us coming in.
There's so much that goes into it, and I don't think people realize it. And you think to yourself that it's all glamour. And from what you're sharing, I mean, you look magnificent, you look beautiful, but there's a lot that you have to do behind the scenes that people aren't aware of. When you leave the studio, because you're a public figure, are people harassing you, or what's that experience like?
No, I mean, some people will come up to you and say things, but for the most part, it's not too bad. I appreciate it when people come up and say something. I mean, I've never had someone come up to me and been like, I hate you. I've had people come up to me and say, I watch you every morning, or, I see pictures of you and your son on Facebook, and I really love that. And, or, you shared a certain story that it resonated with me. I appreciate that. Or you're very personable on air. That's the one I really appreciate the most, because I try and be as personable as I can, because I hate it when news anchors are just flat and not personable and not relatable. I think I think people want to see someone that they can envision themselves sitting down in a living room with and having a conversation. So I really appreciate that. But and then some people message me and they say, I think I saw you at this, usually it's a bar. They're like, I think I saw you at this bar or this place, or my wife thought she saw you. And I always write back and I'm like, please come over and say, they're always like, well, we don't want to bother you. I'm like, please come over and say hi. Like, I love this. This is great. Like, I would have bought you a drink. Like, so, yeah, it's not bad.
Well, see, that's good to know, because I always had the impression that stars such as yourself and other people, they did not want to be bothered. It's just like, don't talk to them. And I have missed a lot of opportunities. So I'm glad, and I know everybody's different. They all have their own opinion on that, but that's good to know that you are welcoming like that, because people, they do feel like they know you. I mean, they follow you on Facebook. They know what kind of Christmas your little boy had. And so they feel like they know you.
Yeah. And like the other thing, it's like these are the people that support your livelihood, I mean, like these are the people that watch your show. Like, why would you ever be dismissive of them or not warm to that? Like, these are the people that, provide you with a living, basically. So I appreciate it completely. And I love that people still watch local news, because the numbers, I mean, the amount of people that watch local news today versus like 30 years ago is significantly lower. So when I do find people that watch local news, I'm like, yes, thank you. Love it.
Yeah.
We're sharing your social media information. If people want to follow you on Facebook or Instagram, we have them here in the show notes. So please do go and connect.
Oh, great. So I had actually, Zane, I don't know if you saw it. I had a video that went viral a couple of months ago of my son. So, because I don't have a lot of family around, we have babysitters. And there was one day where our babysitter couldn't show up. So the baby was brought to me. It was, I said like, hey, I'll take Kevin. I didn't have much to do in the afternoon. I was done with the show. And I'm like, I'll take Kevin for a couple of hours in the morning. Kevin's my son. Brought him into the studio. We were doing a live cut-in, and he walked in front of the weather wall while the meteorologist was doing her forecast. And he's kind of, like looking around, just sort of on TV. You couldn't see him because he was cut off with the camera. But we have video of him wandering around the studio and underneath the anchor desk, and I posted it on Facebook, and it got like 29 million views. It was insane.
Oh my word!
Gosh.
Yeah. I don't know if it's more than that now, but it was 29 million views. I had a friend message me over the weekend, and they're like, do you see Kevin's, like that video you made of Kevin? And I'm like, what about it? Like, I posted it on Thursday. They're like, it's like taking off. It was nuts. So I got a lot of followers out of that video.
I bet you did. Yeah. That's wonderful. Good for him. Good for
Yeah,
you.
I went from like 11,000 followers, which took me years to get, to 61,000. So it's like over
Amazing.
one weekend.
Bada bing, bada boom.
As we move throughout the day, and I'm expecting temperatures to stay in the lower 90s here in the next couple of days. We are dry tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms coming in Thursday on a daily basis, with the heat easing for the weekend.
Takes one video, you guys. That's it. Just one.
You mentioned before about the percentage or number of people who are actually watching live news versus people getting it on websites, et cetera. What do you think is the future for the industry? Do you think it will always be some combination of the two?
The future of the industry for local news, I hesitate to say not good, but local news, if you think back to your parents, my parents, everybody watched the 6 o'clock news, right? Everybody watched the 6 o'clock news. It was something you did. It was ritual. Today's society, and everyone watched like a noon show, right? Just like everyone used to watch soap operas. Everyone's society has changed. Everybody's working now. Nobody is home to watch these broadcasts, and nobody watches them because they get it off their phone. They get every single top story before, if they sleep. I sleep with my phone because it's my alarm clock. I could roll over in bed, look at my phone, and see what the top stories are. I don't need to turn on the news. Like local news is up against a beast, and it's new technology. So the number of people watching local news, which we can see with Nielsen ratings, is just dropping every single year. And it's just, people still need local news. Don't get me wrong. What form that's going to come in the next decade, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like, it's going to be a combination of social media, of course, apps, TikTok, Instagram. It's definitely something that's going to have to, and we're trying to evolve with all of this, but it's been tough. You know, you think about news. I mean, just think about newspapers, like the way that everything's gone. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I feel, it's like I'm in this industry, so I'm kind of like, we're always sort of like, well, there's always going to be local news. What form it's going to be in 10 years, I really don't know, but a lot of it's going to have to be off the phone, streaming off the phone.
Yes, and that's sad, because whenever I watch local news, which I'm not a TV watcher, but when I do, you learn so much, and you go, that was interesting. I would have never known that.
Right.
And it's a heads up on anything. And I think it's a shame that the viewership has dropped like that. But
right. But think about it. So like JACALYN, like Zane, your parents, was it like religion in your house to watch the 6 o'clock?
Yeah, our black and white TV. Yeah, I mean,
doesn't happen anymore. Like nobody watches the 6. Nobody watches the 11 anymore. I mean, it's like these blocks of people have just, because of people's work schedules now, and now that you have two parents working instead of just one, like it's just the whole dynamics have changed.
For someone who is thinking of going into live news, what are some of the talents, the skills, the expertise that they need to have to be successful?
You need to be confident to be on live TV. Everything is live, so you got to be able to talk to somebody like I'm talking to you guys right now. You need to be conversational. You need to be able to be you need to be a real sleuth online to be able to kind of like get your information. You need to be able to tell a story, condensed soup. You need to break it down, the bullet points, who, what, where, when, and make it as short as possible, because people's attention spans are so limited now. You need to just like keep the story short, tight, what people need to know, and then out. You need to be savvy on social media, and screen, the TV screen now. You need to cater to people's phones, their computers, their Apple Watches. So you have all these different social media elements that you also need to work with, which adds more on the plate of a reporter, which already is stacked. I mean, you got to be doing not only your story and turning it quickly, but you got to be doing a thing for TikTok and a thing for Instagram and sending this back to the station and a live Facebook Live. There's a lot of stuff now. There's a lot of screens you need to cater to. I was just going to say, I know that's all kind of on the bad side, but I am going to say on the positive side, getting into the news field, you see and meet people that you would never otherwise come in contact with. I've met governors, prime ministers, all sorts of, state government people. I've covered the royal wedding. I did like the Boston Marathon bombing. I've been on murder scenes. I've been on soldier homecomings, seeing the reactions of people. Like the stories that I've covered over the years, I mean, you never would have seen that if you weren't working in news. So there's definitely positives, of course, to this field. It's just a lot of work.
Something that's coming up for me based on what you just said is many of the things that you've covered would channel emotion, or it bring out some kind of emotion in you. So as a professional, do you keep your emotions in check, or how do you actually still be real and at the same time not be falling apart?
I mean, that's tough. I mean, when you do cover a story that's really, the worst stories are unfortunately kids getting killed. Car accidents. I worked in Vermont, a lot of snowmobile accidents, ATVs, that type of thing. I mean, when you're putting the story together, of course, the way you're not falling apart, you're kind of tracking it. But when you're doing the actual story, it's just kind of having enough. I was always very cognizant of having respect for the families of people that, like, if there was tragedy, finding, and I know a lot of news directors would hate their reporter to do this, but I did it. I would find every avenue possible as to not talk to the parents. They would be like, well, go to the mom. And like, what am I supposed to do? Go to the mom and ask her how she feels? Like, her kid was just killed. Like, I would find other avenues to go and do the story. Like, I would go talk to their school principal. What type of student was he? Or the coach of the soccer team. Was he a great soccer player? And just kind of do like a profile of who the person was and put that on the news versus going to the door of some family, which a lot of news directors want their reporters to do, and ask basically like how you feel. It's like, the last thing that they want to do is have the news in their face when something like that happens. So I would, I don't think this made me a good reporter. I would try and find every avenue to go besides doing that when it came to an emotional story like that. Of course, when it comes to other emotional stories, like a soldier homecoming, maybe they come into a classroom, the student doesn't know that their dad is home from his deployment, and it's a big surprise, a big reveal. I mean, that's easy because people want to talk to you. But yeah, I guess you just kind of got to tailor the way you report stories, depending on what they are when it comes to like really emotional ones, because they can be bad and they can be good.
Well, that just boils down to just trusting your instincts. And I think that's very sensitive of you, because nobody wants a camera shoved in their face when they have been involved in a personal tragedy. They just don't.
My aunt, I
admire you for that.
Yeah, my aunt, my father's sister, her daughter, who was very close with us, she was killed in a car accident when she was 15. And she was very close to me in age. We were very close. And I remember one of the things she said was like the news crews from Newport, Rhode Island were like up at her door, like knocking on the door, asking her questions. And she's like, I'm just trying to bury my kid. Like, get out of my face. And I always remembered that. So if my news director was like, well, call the mom, and I'm like, no, I'm going to talk to the school. like last thing, I mean, why? I don't know. It's just like, why do that to people? So I don't think I'm a good reporter in that way, because a lot of news directors want those reporters to be like knocking on doors and being like, in your face, like type thing. And I'm like, no, not worth it.
I think it makes you an excellent reporter, very human interest reporter, because nobody wants to see a grieving mother. It's hard enough to watch it and read it, but to to relive it through a parent. No, nobody wants to see that.
Why are you sticking a camera in this woman's face? Like, give her a break. Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
Zane, absolutely.
Julie, we're coming to the end of the show, and I have a question for you, which we touched on just briefly. And we were sharing backstage that we don't use any scripts here, and you were talking about how you feel it's so important to just be authentic and real. And I think that can translate throughout life by just showing up without any preconceived ideas or any judgments and just being open to see where the conversation goes. So I'm wondering how these skills that you have, that you do so well at your work, have you brought them into your personal life and vice versa?
Ooh, JACALYN, that's a good question. Well, okay, so sometimes these skills don't go over that well because I ask, like, I start finding myself, if I'm having a conversation, Zane, you probably have, I don't know, like the few times we've met, you've probably like gotten, like, noticed this with me. Like someone starts telling a story and like, I start like asking these questions and I'm like, but what did they say? And well, do you think this person, and then all of a sudden I'm like, why am I like talking like a reporter? Like, I feel like sometimes I start interviewing people. I'm like, wait, stop. I mean, you definitely have seen a lot, so I have an idea of like how things other people are dealing with, hardships. So it's kind of like if you're having a crisis of your own, I've seen like so much in terms of like other crises that people are having, and I'm like, okay, my life isn't that bad. So, I mean, that really kind of levels things out. I feel like this job has definitely built up my self-confidence. I was extremely shy. I still am at going and emceeing events. Like I have crazy stage fright. I know that's weird. I have crazy stage fright, like being up in front of a group of people. It has helped with my self-confidence, but there's still things. I'm gonna say that.
You're still evolving.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Because
your
when
candor.
everyone's like, what do you mean you have stage fright? And I'm like, well, when you're in a studio in the morning, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be Robin Roberts on Good Morning America or, Savannah Guthrie on Today. Like, there's only a few people in that studio with them. There's not a huge, unless they're looking at the window of people on the sidewalk, but like, there's nobody in that studio except for a couple of cameramen. So it's not like you're in front of a lot of people when you're reading the news. So when you actually have to go to an event and there's like 200 people, it's definitely a different experience.
Yes.
I'm like that at networking events. I'm literally hyperventilating before I walk in. I have to go to the restroom and run cold water over my wrist. Like,
right?
Calm down, you're sweating. Like,
seriously, but there's nothing wrong with that. But it's so natural. It's so natural. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's completely fine.
Yeah, it's real. It's authentic.
Yeah.
Zane, I'm going to go over to you for any last question that you have for Julia today. And I hope she'll come back and join us.
Oh, yeah. I'm thrilled. I hope she comes back and join us. No, I think we covered everything. We ran the gamut from beginning to end. I was very pleased with everything that you said. I loved it.
I'm surprised you guys didn't ask me any follow-up questions on the fact that we have no makeup or no hair, like nothing. Everyone, there are so many people, you go out in public and they're like, so do you have a hairstylist and like a makeup person? Does the station buy your clothes? I'm like, no, and no, like nothing.
Yeah, I'm surprised about the H&M, the hair and makeup, but I knew they didn't buy your clothes, but I really thought they had a hair. I mean, even the few little TV shows I've been on, they had a hair and makeup person.
Nope. This is the first station I've worked with where they don't comp you for your hair. Like it just, and I like, you see my roots are really bad right now. Like I'm not a like natural blonde. So it costs a lot of money to keep my hair blonde. And it's like, yeah, it's expensive, but it's, yeah, all that stuff was provided at one point, but it's all been taken away. I mean, like news stations, their motto, every single station, not just mine, every single station is do more with less. It's been that way for like 10 years, which is, as an employee, it's tough to hear, but just kind of the way it is.
It makes sense in today's economy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hair and makeup are arts in and of themselves. And I was a makeup artist on the side for a while, and I never realized I'd be using it for what I'm doing now. But your makeup looks beautiful. So
Oh.
what are your tips and tricks for, just briefly, for makeup?
Oh, geez. So the thing with TV is, so I don't have TV makeup on right now, but it's making your eyes look as bright and open as they can be. So it's like a thick kind of white layer of, I don't call it cover up, but like eyeliner, like liquid eye, like you got to put like white right kind of in the middle. And then when you do the eyeshadow, you kind of got to put it up, not quite like a cat eye, but everything needs to sort of be like up. And you just got to make the middle part here white so that it looks, on camera, it looks like your eyes are like really open. So then you just do a little bit of eyeshadow, a little bit of white here. I pencil in my eyebrows a little bit just so they're more, they come more towards the center, because I was one of those, in the 90s where everybody plucked their eyebrows so they were super thin and then they never came back. I was one of those victims. So I do that. And then just the contouring, like kind of the 3, and then some blush, and then a little bit of highlighter here, a little bit here, a little bit there, and right down the center of the nose, and a little bit of bronzer on both sides. I don't have my TV makeup on right now because I'm off today, but like that's what I do for TV.
I love those inside tips. Thank you. That's fantastic. You're right, because the eyes
it's all about making the eyes like more like the brightness, like the inside of the eye should be like white, and then on the outsides is where you have like the real eyeshadow.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Julia, we're going to spotlight you, and I'd love for you to share with our audience what's the best way for people to reach you and who you would like to connect with you.
Sure. You can find me on Facebook is the best way. If you just search Julia Dunn, CBS 6, you'll see my page. There's a picture of me. Just follow that. On Instagram, just look at Julia Dunn TV. That's my profile there. Facebook is probably the best way, Facebook and Instagram.
All right. And we've got that information there on the screen. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. It's an absolute pleasure, and wish you continued success and happy holidays.
No, thank you so much for having me on. This has been great. Really nice meeting you, JACALYN, and Zane. I hope to see you soon.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll get together. Yes. Well, Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year, you guys, right? Jeez.
Happy New Year. Thank you again for being here.
All right. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great day. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, Zane, that was a fantastic episode. Thank you so much for inviting Julia here to the show.
Yeah, that was fun. She's interesting, and she's a great person in and out of, in front of or behind the TV. She's a great person and very interesting, and I've enjoyed getting to know her.
Well, you can tell she just has a lot of positive energy and light. You can really feel that from people. So that's what I'm taking away from her.
Yeah,
Zane, what's the best way for people to reach you? You've got your website there. Would you?
Yes, ZaneCarruth.com, and on Instagram it's Z Carruth. Please follow me on Instagram. I post a lot about my family, my life, and my books on my Instagram. And Facebook, I'm on Facebook, but I don't post as much on Facebook. But you just contact me through ZaneCarruth.com, or my personal email is ztcarson@yahoo.com. I get that instantly.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be in touch, and keep smiling.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone, for being here and watching our show, whether it's on the live or the replay. We wish you the happiest of holidays and all the best for 2024. Please do go over to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV and Radio, and subscribe to our station. We are just so grateful for all of you who are following us, our family here continues to grow. And if you'd like to be part of our family, we'd love to hear from you. So you can get the information right here, and you can contact us on our website, usaglobaltv.com, or you can email me directly at drjacalyn@usaglobaltv.com. We are going to hear a very special announcement from Zane Carson Carruth, and you can see and hear some of the work that she's done. So please do stay tuned for that. And again, we look forward to seeing you in the future on another episode coming next month. It's the last Thursday of each month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you. Bye for now. This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of ELEGANCE, Polished Demeanor, and POSH Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Bella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Bella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Bella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com. ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.